name change spoke to the value attached to the work they do and to humans and human settlements. A few years down the line, we all learned that this was just a publicity stunt. For the few whom the department managed to complete their work, there is nothing human about the quality of the houses that have been built. A case in example is Tweeflag in Ventersdorp, where houses are of substandard and according to specifications. The DA recently lodged a complaint with the Human Rights Commission about incomplete deserted houses in Louisdal in Mahikeng. To no surprise, the Human Rights Commission then informed us that they have actually had numerous housing complaints against the department and that they even decided to do a full inquiry into incomplete RDP houses in the entire province. That is how badly this department has deserted its mandate. The inquiry, which sat from the 10th to the 12th of May 2023 in Mahikeng, we will be guarding and awaiting the investigation report after we went to also do our presentations. Incomplete houses, usage of cheap material, walls built halfway, houses left without roofs, and many other issues are a lived reality for residents of Lethabong village in Rustenburg, residents of Extension 17 and 18 in Wolmaranstad, as well as residents of Masakeng village in Kanana, who have suffered at the hands of this department. The 54 million that was dumped into a project in which the department entered a memorandum of understanding with Marang. We note the progress that the MEC has spoken to, but we would want to know what is the plan beyond the criminal case that the MEC spoke to. Will the project be resuscitated, and what will be the way forward? With only 8,802 houses built by the Northwest government from 2020 to date, one would think that the Northwest Housing Corp, which is an entity that was formed in 1982 with a mandate to provide further provision of housing, shelter, and accommodation to low-income communities, will have a great track record in assisting the mother department. Instead, it is a directionless entity that still uses outdated founding legislation to perform its functions. Sadly, MEC, it took your government more than 24 years since the promulgation of the PFMA for the entire ANC government to realize that the act that this entity has been using is not aligned with the PFMA. The entity's track record is so dismal and underwhelming that one wonders why does it still exist. It has failed to account on a number of issues that the committee has spoken to, and it is just business as usual. With the National Portfolio Committee having directed CEO of the entity, Mr. Mokhodiri, to open cases against officials who sold properties that belong to the Northwest, has that case been opened? Against how many officials, and what is the case number? We will await those responses. MEC, with the proposed amendments to the entity's founding legislation that you spoke to in your budget speech, we hope that you will also take the opportunity to reshape that entity so that it can be relevant to new technologies, because at this stage, it is nothing but an entity that is housing cadres who do not have work. Speaker, just last week, we saw the release of the 2022 Municipal Financial Sustainability Index by Ratings Africa. That report puts the DA-led Midval in Gauteng and DA-led Salhana Bay in Western Cape as the two best-run municipalities in the country, with Cape Town yet again emerging as the best-run metro. This is something that we are used to now. You can see even ANC members no longer make noise when we remind them of this reality, because slowly but surely they are acknowledging that where the DA governs, there's actually change. I cannot even make noise about who the poorest municipalities are and where they come best. The very same Naledi is number last. And it is all, they were judging these municipalities out of scale of 100.
Hold on, Honorable, there's a hand.
Speaker, I'm raising on Rule 62 that requires that members desiring to speak must do so by raising their hands. So members who want to speak must just raise their hands.
Honorable Bogatsu, but you are continuously out of order. You are continuously out of order. Proceed, Honorable Proceed, Honorable.
Thank you, Speaker. Honorable Bukhatsi, don't worry. You see, when they speak and they don't speak on record, it's because they know that whatever they are saying it does not make sense. They know that they just howl. That is why they're speaking there. So don't worry. I'm awaiting any of them who will stand up on record and say I'm lying. They can't, because they are presiding over the West municipalities in the country. None of the Northwest municipalities could even attain 50%. Or if it was a classroom, they would have all failed under your stewardship, under you, Honorable Tlapi, Honorable Mohono, Honorable Sambata, and even the MEC and Premier. That is how bad things are. So don't worry about them making noise. We are used to this noise. The arrogance that they are displaying, we are used to it. And in December 2022, we showed them through Ditsobota that the winds of change are coming. They will be knocking on doors of Patriotic Alliance and other useless parties that they are in coalition with in Ditsobota because of what this desperation and arrogance that they are showing today. So don't worry about them. We are coming for you. Things are going to change. You'll be sitting on this side next year. Delivering the 2020-21 municipal audit outcomes last year, Auditor General Tsakani Maluleke announced an unprecedented move for the AG office. She referred 6 municipalities to the Financial Intelligence Center, FIC, to investigate their unexplained accounting practices. Guess what, Speaker? Northwest municipalities are leading on that list as well. Madibeng, Lekwatamane, Mamusa, and Ramotsiri from the Northwest are part of that process. AG assessed them through data analytics, checking where the money had gone. Having done their analysis, they concluded that they were none the wiser. The municipalities were not telling anybody where the money went. And having run their tests, the auditors were unable to identify the unique identifiers on the bank statements to see where the money had gone. Section 106 of the Municipal Systems Act empowers the MEC of local government to request information or to appoint an investigator or investigators if he or she has reason to believe that maladministration, fraud, corruption, or any other serious malpractice has occurred or is occurring in a municipality. Just last week, the Public Accounts Committee heard of how a municipal manager recently appointed in Gauteng resigned from Dipalese municipality in Mpumalanga after an investigation was conducted on him for paying service providers irregularly and sometimes even paying them on Saturdays when there was no one at the municipality. It was only him. When he could not account in Dipalese, he was taken to Northwest and they gave him refuge. He was a CFO then in Dipalese. They gave him a much better position as an MM in Gauteng, one of the ailing municipalities. Your friend, Honorable Mohono, don't ask me, man. Just last week at a public hearing in Morokweng, we heard how water tankering is abused in Dr. Ruth Mompati district. Residents like those of Mamusa, they are saying that they are forced to use water tankering while there is water in their taps. Just last week in Scopa again, we heard of the festival of boyfriends and girlfriends that is in Ditsobotla, where the municipality again cannot be paying salaries of workers and cannot even afford a toilet paper. But yet, boyfriends and girlfriends are being employed. That's how nice this government is being ran. You know, the ex-co rep who was in our meeting was saying to us that out of an establishment of about 756, which is the complement of that municipality, about 500 of the workers there are related to each other. If it is not the girlfriend, it is the wife. If it is not the wife, it is wife number 2. That's how bad things are. And when you do an own analysis, you realize that they are all comrades of the ANC. That is how bad things are. So MEC, we wonder when will you be using your powers to investigate? How long will Treasury be forced to issue bailouts on situations that have been self-inflicted by comrades masquerading as public servants? We have already requested the SIU to investigate Mamusa after Woolworths credit cards were debited from the municipality account, after funeral policies of councillors were debited from the municipal account, and after 20 million of equitable share in 2021 disappeared from the bank account the same day it was transferred. Now we believe that we need to move to Ditsobota because we know that if it comes in the form of a report of a committee, it will gather dust until next time when Honorable Bukhatsi is the speaker, where we'll have to come and uplift it. Speaker, we note the MEC saying that the forfeiture of funds will be a thing of the past, and I heard some members, including the MEC of Treasury, clapping hands for the MEC when he announced that it will be a thing of the past. We will be guarding that to see if indeed it happens. However, monies that were meant for provision of water have been lost in Dr. RSM. They've been taken back, forfeited. Where is the consequence management report? Why is it business as usual when a crime has been committed against the residents of Northwest? We cannot year in and year out come here, grandstand and claim that returning of funds will be a thing of the past, yet it is continuously happening and nothing is coming forth in terms of people and heads rolling. Departments at both national and provincial continue to default on paying Northwest municipalities what is due to them in terms of rates and taxes. Why is the department not intervening in this regard? Have intergovernmental frameworks collapsed to an extent that municipalities have to suffer while departments owe them? You know what is more said is that, Speaker, none of the Northwest municipalities, and I repeat, none, is able to even compile their own financial statements. All of them rely on consultants to do that. And those consultants are also failing at it, despite being paid to do that. And what is shocking is when you look at the salary bills of all these municipalities, they have a full complement of finance staff, they hire consultants, but still cannot formulate an annual financial statement. Because that is how bad things are. So we welcome the proposed skill audit across all Northwest municipalities. We're just looking forward to see which names of girlfriends will come out of that report this time around, and how many of the girlfriends and boyfriends are actually in positions that they are supposed to be in. Speaker, the department needs to revisit its mandate. Maybe it must start, we need maybe as Parliament to start looking at introducing new governance models and seeking necessary constitutional changes. As it seems, municipalities in the Northwest have proven from time and again that they are not the relevant vehicle to deliver services to residents. The departmental budget is wasted year in and year out on municipalities that are not yielding any signs of improvement, but are getting worse and worse every year. This 659 million budget is money that is being thrown away to comrades to go and masquerade. So, Speaker, we need to put it on record today that it is only the DA that can save the Northwest, and the DA rejects this budget. I thank you.
Thank you. But the Speaker did not say you are done, said you must wrap up. Okay. Thank you very much, honorable members. Honorable Ntate Sibigo, you decided to abandon your time. Honorable Sibigo, you have 10 plus 4 minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable members, it is interesting listening to the two latter speakers. They are very much predictable. Every time they rise, you know what you expect from them. And there's nothing new that comes from what they actually have tried to present. However, our purpose is to share with the South Africans and Northwest people about the ANC's views. We will deal with other matters towards the end so that we don't cause confusion. Honorable Speaker, I know this is exactly what we are going to be doing throughout, to divert my focus. Can I be protected, Honorable Speaker? So that I'm able to send the message.
Member.
Thank you very much.
Honorable members, proceed.
Honorable Speaker, in his message, the President of African National Congress, the ANC, to the masses of our people and the broader political community of the mass democratic movement, Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa, when he launched the 2021 ANC local government elections manifesto, amply said, we face a moment in the history when we chose between the path of division, conflict, destruction, inequality, and exclusion, and the path of unity, hard work, development, inclusivity, and shared prosperity. The President's assertion cannot be further from the truth, as international and domestic economic vulnerabilities and shocked occasioned by COVID-19 has exposed inequality of our society and has laid bare the need for municipalities and the broader local government to quicken pace of critical service delivery to the masses of our people. Honourable members, the path as initiated by the President can save our people from the vagaries of poverty, inequality, and unemployment. Empirical evidence has proven that proper service can save lives, and contrary, the absence or inadequate delivery of services may cost lives. Hence, at the crux of the Bill of Rights lies service delivery. The very DNA of the Freedom Chart and other cornerstone of principles of African National Congress are found in the delivery of services. Honourable Speaker, creating a truly developmental state requires a fully functional local government system that performs consistent with the back to basics program. An integrated and transformed South Africa can be achieved through an inclusive economic space and residential integration. As the ANC, we are of the firm view that this budget vote, in terms of all its elements, should find resonance with our organizational mandate to improve the lives of the citizens of this province. These assertions are in line with the ANC-led government's effort to revitalize local government through a clearly defined action plan aimed at supporting municipalities to perform at their utmost best through infrastructure development, job creation development measures geared at addressing corruption and fraud, as well as devising mechanisms to manage urban development. It is on this score, Honourable Speaker, that we ask the Department to continue supporting and strengthening our municipalities to perform their constitutional mandate of rendering basic services to our people.
Hold on, please. There's a hand. Honourable Sonakile.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I would want to check with the member if the member would take a question.
Honourable Member.
Not you, Honourable Mohan.
Honourable Mohono, you are out of order.
After I'm done. Thank you. After I'm done.
Proceed on member.
No, thank you very much. One of the most pervasive challenges facing our country as a developmental state is the need for the ANC-led government to mobilize society in order to address the triple challenges of poverty, unemployment, inequality, and other legacies of apartheid and colonialism. Consequently, our constitutional democracy has advanced the right of our people to the progressive attainment of access to the basic necessities of life. The ANC-led government has thus done well in expanding basic services to the people. As a result, more and more of South Africans have been lifted out of extreme poverty and have their dignity restored. As such, the lives of our people have vastly improved, and South Africa is a much better place than it was before 1994. The ANC is pleased that the department is providing operational support, strengthening technical and institutional capacity in our municipalities. We also call on it to attend to the issues of declining audit outcomes, including the increasing trend of unauthorized, irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure. As the ANC, we have the strong view that the key factor that is contributing to the declining level of adverse audit outcome are inaction by political and administrative leadership at a municipal level. Lack of consequences management, which has created a culture of impunity, poor financial management discipline, inability to meet project deadline, resulting in collapse of service delivery. We have noted with great concern the depressing state of affairs in some of our municipalities in the province, wherein there's non-compliance with the Municipal Finance Management Act that led to loss or withholding of equitable shares and conditional grant. This has had the consequence of denying our people quality basic services, even the level of interference of opposition parties who want to tell municipalities how they must run when they did not secure the elections in 2021. We ask the department to facilitate the implementation of a policy framework that provides for a differentiated approach to municipal financing, planning, support. Government can carry its mandate efficiently and effectively. We also welcome the efforts of the department in supporting municipalities with their revenue enhancement management initiative by assisting with simplified municipal revenue. We applaud the monitoring of implementation of credit control and debt collection as a step forward towards improving the financial viability of our municipalities. This initiative will only be effective if our people partner with their municipalities by taking their responsibility to pay for municipal services. Debts by provincial departments and public entities also impact negatively on service delivery. It's a matter that must be confronted head-on. We can only encourage the culture of payments of services if government leads by example. The misguided political campaign encouraging ratepayers to withhold payment of municipal services have crippled the majority of municipalities in our province that owe ESCOM over 3 billion. We are fully aware that it's a strategy that is driven by the opposition to destabilize our municipalities. However, we hope the matter is receiving an agenda of local government, which is key to achieving a better life for all communities to a virtual halt in a majority of our small municipalities. This destructive crusade must be suspended to reignite the spirit of partnership necessary to revive local economies, attract investment, as well as unlock infrastructure. We also welcome the department's effort in supporting 12 municipalities to maintain functional ward committees by monitoring the number of ward committees, management meetings, number of community meetings, organized and submission and tabling of ward reports, and plans to the council covering needs and priority for the wards. This is a welcome development in that the ward committee system is an important element in the promotion of local democracy and the enlargement of community participation in municipal governance. The aim of this initiative by the ANC-led government was to create close cooperation between municipalities and communities in the provision of sustainable services, especially where services have been intermittent at best. We also know the progress made by the department in monitoring municipalities on the implementation of gender-based violence and femicide response program by assessing the number of municipalities implementing gender-based violence femicide program through municipal performance review sessions. The ANC applaud the gender-based violence and femicide response program to eradicate high incidence of gender-based violence in our midst. We are of the firm view that ANC, that we have a moral obligation to accelerate the action and strive for South Africa that is free from gender-based violence. We call on the department to strengthen the work of municipal public accounts and audit committees to exercise oversight over the executive functionaries. The ANC acknowledges that central to service delivery within the traditional communities is the capacity and functionality of traditional leadership and structure to participate meaningfully in government planning implementation program. To address this challenge, the ANC, we welcome the department's effort in providing financial and non-financial support to 92 traditional councils. We also know the good work of the department in promoting the participation of traditional leaders in municipal council. The ANC-led government has done well in expanding basic services to the people. As a result, more and more of South Africans have been lifted out of extreme poverty and have their dignity restored. As such, the lives of our people have vastly improved, and South Africa is a much better place than it was in 1994. This is beside the notable fact that challenges still facing our country are immense, because poverty, inequality, and unemployment still affect the lives of many of our people. Same effect with our municipalities and communities. We are also facing major challenges of reducing unemployment, creating more access to better quality services, overcoming the legacy of apartheid special planning that was led by the DA then, strengthening community participation, and building of effective, efficient, and accountable clean local government. It is on this score that we welcome the initiative of the government in creating thousands of jobs opportunities through the community work program to end the pangs of hunger amongst our people. The building of human settlement remains a public investment as it contributes to economic growth. The ANC's goal is to always ensure that we have permanent investment by making sure that our human settlement projects are of good quality and can stand the test of time. There is a need to do this kind of work in an integrated way. Honorable Sonakile, maybe you better understand what human settlement means than what you were trying to change from the dictionary.
Member, Honorable Theologo.
Speaker, I'd like to ask the member, as a former MEC of Coxtown Treasury, a question, please.
You're out of order, Honorable Member. You know that you're out of order. Please take your seat. Proceed, Honorable Member.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The department needs to speed up the discussion with Khosi Molete so that land can be allocated to the people of Deelpan. This will enable the appointed Housing Development Agency to undertake the detailed studies for construction of 150 permanent structures, as pronounced by the Honorable Premier Minister of the Province address, as against what has just been exaggerated by Honorable Bogatsu to mislead the public deliberately. Honorable Speaker, we have delivered a reasonable number of quality homes to a majority of our military veterans, and together with the Department of Military Veterans, are determined to sort out all the minor glitches standing in our way in completing the task. The important task of providing houses for our veterans remain work in progress. We ask the department to extend its reach and ensure awareness program for what used to be called FLIPS, which now we are told is known as the First Home Finance, to be implemented so that our people can take full advantage of the housing opportunities provided by the caring and compassionate ANC-led government. Accelerating human settlement is key to addressing homelessness and restoring the dignity of our people. Block project represents the stumbling block to housing delivery program. And the ANC commitment, as expressed succinctly in clause 9 of the Freedom Charter, to the effect that there shall be housing, security, and comfort. Audit of incomplete housing project will ensure that drastic measures are taken against contractors who fail to deliver on this commitment. Blacklisting and possible asset forfeiture process will have to unfold to recover monies that could have been lost in the process. There must be value for money and no compromise on quality of services. Unscrupulous contractors responsible for shoddy work must be held accountable. There's a need for greater accountability and proper management of this project. A close-up report on the disposal of property which are located in and outside the province must be finalized, and decisive action against alleged looters who thought that this property were theirs to enrich themselves and do as they wish without due regard that the investment had to accrue for the economic benefit of the people of the Northwest. Honorable Bokhatsu, you are a very interesting, predictable member, honorable member. It has been explained about the matter of Marang, that it is in court, and at least to the extent that even the date has been specified. But deliberately, you recklessly preempted and chose to address this matter even with emotions, irrespective of what has been said, and not even any attempt to respond to what has been provided in terms of the response. The well-outlined budget has been deliberately ignored. Now, none of you spoke about the contents of the budget. In fact, Honorable Sonagile, you degenerated to a level of a councillor today, very regrettably so. When you were speaking here, I would imagine you sitting in the chamber of Ditsobota deliberating to a larger degree. It is to the disadvantage of the people of the Northwest. They wanted to hear what the provincial government has in store for them. Instead, you have demonstrated a lack of confidence or motion of no confidence to the councillors that the DF deployed in Ditsobota. Interestingly, when the member is in the podium, Honorable Bokhatsu, you decide to degenerate, putting matters into perspective seems to be a difficulty for you to comprehend. We only hear expression of anger throughout and no content in our engagement. There seems to be a disinterest of what constitutes block project. Technically, we all know what it means, what are the factors that would lead to a project being blocked. But none of you spoke about this. Instead, you are giving the people of the Northwest an impression that block project is part of corruption. Very regrettable. Maybe because now they are offering classes, I would really urge one to see members going to school. And it does not mean that when you are legally qualified, there is an understanding, because there is a regression in terms of our understanding of this. I don't know if it is because of...
There's a hand, Honorable... Let's hear Honorable Sonagile.
No, thank you very much, Speaker. The member on the podium is speaking about going to school. Speaker, I've urged you before that, can you do a skills audit of members so that when statements like this are made, re tsebe hore ke bo mang ba tshabileng sekolo ko hausone. Because o bua yalo shebile batho ba wrong. Batho ba tlamang a bua le bona ke ba leka kwa. O shebile rona o tlo re jwetsa ka sekolo, a starte ka ena pele re jwetse qualification tsa gagwe, then re tla starta re mo engage.
Take your seat, please.
I
want to remind you, honorable members, I want to remind you of Rule 57 of the rules of this House. You don't have to disrupt for the sake of disrupting. Members are allowed to raise point of orders, but you can't disrupt. And you know very well, Honorable Sonakile, that what you are doing is out of order. Don't do that again, please. Honorable Bukhatsu.
Ke a leboga, Speaker. Speaker, Rule 67 of the House Rules indicates that no member may use offensive, abusive, disrespectful, unbecoming words in this August House. So, Honorable Sibiho cannot say we are not educated. What he said implies that we are not educated.
Honorable Bukhatsu.
Saying
May you
that
please
we
take
are not
your
going
seat?
to school, it simply means we are not
Honorable
educated.
Bukhatsu,
So
may you
he
please
must
take your
withdraw
seat?
because it's against Rule 67. So he must
Honorable
withdraw.
Bukhatsu, may you please take your seat? You know, always your understanding and the interpretations of these rules is something else. It's something else. Proceed, Honorable. There's nothing that you are saying in what Honorable Sibiho was saying. Proceed, Honorable Sibiho.
No, thank you very much.
Honorable Sibiho.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I hope my minutes are also taken care of as we get on being disrupted. Honorable Speaker, you see, there's an observation of members of abusing their privileges here by mentioning certain names of individuals and want to give an impression because they had opportunities out there to get projects that they are corrupt just by virtue of getting projects. It is very regrettable. Honorable Speaker, you would see in the news most of the time in municipalities, you see yellow plant being used by EFF in several of the municipalities. Is it because these individuals would have not paid or contributed to EFF to do this yellow plant work that they see? When in actual fact, we want to remind honorable members here, when EFF disclosed their contribution, how much they got as donation, they only disclosed 202,000 rand, as against all the works that the South Africans are seeing. South Africans are not stupid. They will never be misled forever, I want to believe. The issue of Kirtland,
As you wrap up, Honorable Member.
the issue of Kirtland municipality, we as members of the portfolio committee received letter yesterday, just yesterday. Can we forget so quick, where it was confirmed that the process for the recruitment of the MM was confirmed to have been a proper process. But honorable member comes here and still want to portray or give an impression that there were gross irregularities in that regard. It's unfortunate. I would have really loved to engage because it then meant that I was going to have not to tell people what the ANC wants to do and focus on the municipal issues as per the sentiments expressed here. But I understand why these expressions. That is why you continue to get 5 votes per ward.
Honorable Sibiho, hold on. Honorable Sonakile.
Speaker, in terms of the rules, no member is supposed to mislead the House. I don't know which report is Honorable Sibiho speaking about that the committee has received because PPAC has not said yesterday. So maybe he got the report somewhere and it shows the type of.
Today you have decided to do it.
But Speaker, I'm still making a point.
The reality, you are out of order, Honorable Sonakile, because the reality is that what you are saying, as the person presiding here, I must have that information that you are referring. I don't have. You are in a debate, honorable members.
That's why I'm
And
begging
as
you
we
to please
debate,
stop him from
you
lying.
say all these other things, and Honorable Sibiho is debating as much as you were debating. Please give him
But
that
Honorable, we are
space.
debating things that we
Please
have.
take your seat, Honorable Sonakile. Proceed, Honorable Sibiho.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. As I move towards closer, Honorable Speaker, we hear DA keeping on making reference to
Remember,
Western
you are
Cape.
wrapping up.
Yeah, within that 2 minutes. We hear now and then EFF making reference to Western Cape municipality. And they are also talking about corrupt politicians. Very recently, the MEC of local human settlement in Western Cape has been removed out of suspicion of corruption. That is selective reporting, and it's very
Honorable
regrettable.
Sibiho, there's a hand. Honorable Theologo. Honorable Sonakile, please talk. Honorable Theologo.
I just wanted to ask Honorable Sebego the question of consequence management.
Order,
the EFF
Honorable Theologo.
uses yellow fleet,
Honorable
at
Theologo.
least the ANC is selling
Honorable
their yellow
Theologo,
fleet
you are out
because
of
they're
order.
not paying salaries.
You are out
That
of
is the
order. You
ANC.
know very well that the member must accept to take your question before you can proceed. Don't do that, please. Honorable Hatsu.
Speaker, it is not the EFF that was speaking of Western
May you
Cape.
please take your
It was
seat?
the DA.
May you
So
please
can
take
you
your
please,
seat,
please
Honorable
correct
Hatsu?
Honorable Speaker, Honorable
Honorable
Speaker.
Hatsu, take your seat, please. Honorable Theologo, I think it's high time that you must put pressure on the Secretary of the Legislature to make sure that our systems are working properly. So that as and when you are out of order, we're able to switch off your mics. Because you are taking that advantage. You must put pressure on the Secretary of the Legislature to do that. Your last few seconds, Ntate Sebigo.
No, thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, I wanted to say that is why you have EFF, DA in particular, getting 5 votes per ward in most of the wards in the Northwest. It's because what they are trying to express is not convincing enough. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, our plans as the ANC is to move the achievement of the Vision of Freedom Chart. The ANC-led government policy position gives South Africa a set of tools by which they can hold their municipality to account and measure where they are living up to their mandate. We are of the firm view that the 2023-24 budget will go a long way in addressing
Thank
the
you very
challenges
much,
facing
Honorable
local
Sibuko. Your
government.
time is up.
The ANC support vote 9 and vote 14 of
Yes.
2023-2024 to accelerate
Aye,
service
yes.
delivery. I thank you.
That is why you were
Thank you very
demoted.
much, Honorable Sebigo. We'll now recognize Honorable Nell.
That is why he was
Honorable
demoted
Nell,
as the
order,
chief whip.
Honorable Sonakile, order. Honorable Nell, you have 4 minutes plus 4 is 8. Proceed.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable members,
Order,
and
honorable
members of the
members,
public,
order.
good morning.
You
Honourable
know,
MEC,
sometimes, order, hold on, please, Honorable Nell. The former member of this House, Honorable Ntate Matlhakeng, used to say to honorable members, every time when you see guests of the speaker in the gallery, you behave somehow. And that is the behavior I see today. Those are my guests, honorable members. Lona, do your work here. Proceed, Honorable Nell.
thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable MEC, I want to give you 2 compliments. I'm going to start with one and then I'm going to end with one. The first one, I have to say I was surprised. You started off very honestly in your address to this House. You honestly talked about the audit responses or the audit results, which is not necessarily going anywhere. One of the things that I can add here on the audit stagnation in this province, and we've said this numerous times, in committees, in this House, records management systems. If you want to talk about corporate or governance at municipalities, you need to look at records management system. You can look at every single audit report of every municipality in this province. The main issue is a lack of audit evidence that can be presented to the Auditor General of Auditing. That is the main issue if it comes to auditing. Now, I want to make it simple. I want to come with solutions. There's one, records management systems. And I'll be honest, the municipalities do not have the political will to get this records management systems, because then there will be a track record of all the expenses, of all the paperwork, and then corruption. The people who are busy with corruption will be caught. So I asked this House and I asked the Honourable MEC, records management, when it comes to governance, that is the key aspect if we look at the audit results. Service delivery, it's going backwards. Honourable MEC, you spoke about 50% of the municipal managers that are in positions, that are employed at the municipalities or appointed. I want to ask, and we've asked this at committee level, your predecessor, your previous MEC, put us in this position. The previous MEC said all municipalities must immediately get rid and stop the contract with the municipal managers. Even in court, it was shown that there was a bad decision. We never got response of that. Honorable MEC, I want to thank you. You agreed. Section 139 intervention is not working. So why do we have this Department of Corporate Governance if the interventions are not working? It has not been working for a long time. We've asked in this House, and I've asked at committee level at least 10 times. I've asked in this House at least 3 or 4 times. We want the administrator close-out reports. That's been 4 years. Why are we not getting that? We're talking about transparent government. We're talking about corporate governance. Why are we not getting that information? It's a simple question. Let's go to the financial sector. Collection rates. Let's look why we're facing, when municipalities are facing what they face at the moment. The billing system, that's the second good solution. Number 1, records management. Number 2, billing system. None of the municipalities in this province can give accurate accounts. People's accounts are being cut off, their services, on Friday afternoons because they owe money, and when you go look at it, they do not owe money. If you look at Ditsabotla, a transfer of a property can't even take place because the municipality cannot verify the figures for the transfer to go through. We are destroying the economy. Billing system, records management. We're looking at the vacancies. You did address this, Honorable MEC, and you're talking about the skills audit. But I want the skills audit not to be just lip service, because we have heard the word skills audit from all the previous MECs in your position. But it's never been done, it's somewhere in the pipeline, and it never gets out, and there's no consequence management. And the issue with the vacancies and the skills that they are not because of, how can I put it, because of the vacancies. So I was looking at the BTO now financially. The issue is the capacity. The issue is people being employed in this department where you need skilled people. They are not skilled. The Auditor General, about a year ago, admitted to us that less than 5% of the BTO, that's the financial components of municipalities, have properly qualified people in that positions. Do not just fill the vacancies, please fill it with people who are capable. That is the issue. We spoke about, Honourable MEC, you mentioned the 448 million rand in conditional grants that was sent back. That's bad. We look at the sewage, we look at the water streets, there's no electricity. And I have to say, the solution which you come up, I do not agree with. Because now, there was a reason why there was a conditional grant for a municipality for a specific project. Maybe it was the sewage, maybe it was the water. But now to take that project away from that municipality, and the people living in that municipality are now taking it and giving it just to another municipality because they just not spend it, who's being affected? Who's losing out? The people from this, the principal municipality who should have spent that conditional grants. So rather we should help that the conditional grants be spent where it was proposed to be spent because there was a reason in the first place for that conditional grants. We're talking about Eskom. It is a big problem. But when we come to Eskom, I also want to add something, the debts of the national and provincial departments to municipalities. That can make a difference. And I know from the other honourable MECs, as in this House said, yes, but the issue is why the departments cannot pay the municipalities is because there are disputes on the account. But it's easy to declare dispute. Why not pay the amount that you agree with the municipality and get it over with and just keep back the amount that is in dispute? That's another suggestion. That will help municipalities in their cash flow and also with the Eskom accounts. Illegal connections, as I move to electricity from finance. We're sitting with illegal connections. Just now in Rustenburg a week ago, there was big protests. People were angry. Why? Because there's people with illegal connections in Rustenburg, and every time it rains, and it rains a lot, the wires are open, then everybody in the whole area loses all electricity. This is an ANC ward, and the ANC people started protesting. Why are these illegal connections not being tackled? I asked around in Rustenburg. They say we cannot do it because the people will attack us and there'll be war. But what you're getting at now is a situation where the people who have legal connections are getting angry at the people with the illegal connections. You're getting at a point where things are getting out of control, and it's not being addressed. And I can't see how this will be addressed, because municipalities are too scared to address this issue. Thank you. Thank you, honorable members. Now we have to speak about the political elephant in the room. And I know when opposition parties stand here and they speak about the ANC, you usually get howled at. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the words of ANC members, of where the ANC is not doing politically their work to govern this province. I'm going to start with a media statement from Scopa, Honorable Dliso, and I'm going to read your words. Dliso said, Honorable Dliso, it is worrying that the municipality continues to deteriorate despite the by-elections that occurred in December. This is to Tsabotla. Unfortunately, as things stand, employees will not be paid their salaries in May and June, as there is no money. With the creditors' bill standing at 4.4 billion against the budget of over 500 million, which is also non-existent, it simply means that the municipality is dormant. We have observed a deep-rooted culture of corruption and maladministration that emanated from many years of lack of accountability, and it's still rearing its ugly head to this day. It was an ANC member who said this. Honorable Motswana, that same media statement, you spoke about the boyfriends and the girlfriends who were being employed by the councillors. That councillors are ANC councillors. So I'm using your words against you. I'm sorry, Honourable. I've got respect for you, but I have to. Honourable MEC, I'm going to conclude. And here's another compliment. You've brought a new energy. You've brought new plans to the fore. I have to say, some of the plans you brought really impressed me. One of the plans I really liked, and I would have liked to hear more of it. After the State of the Province address, you spoke about the exemption of water infrastructure from load shedding. I think you could have said more about that, and I think I would like to know timelines. I think that's also a progressive statement, which was not necessarily the focus of your speech today, but that's something I actually want to address, and I know you're speaking after me. When can we expect that to be fully rolled out in this province? Because that will greatly assist the people of this province. Records management, billing systems, and employing people with a capacity. That is what we need. Simple solution. It could have been a very short speech. Thank you, Honourable Speakers. Thank you, Honourable Members. We as the FF Plus will not support this budget. Let me explain why. I love the plans of the Honourable MEC, but out of experience, I've seen these plans. They don't work. But please, surprise me. Until then, we're against it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, honourable members. Let's now recognize Honourable Malloy to conclude the debate. Whilst Honourable Malloy is coming to the podium, let's recognize the presence of Khosi Ramokok. I just saw him somewhere there in the gallery. I'm not sure why Khosi is seated there. Security officers, may you please usher back all Makhosis there into the house. Please do that. And if you were not aware, you can't be members of the Northwest community without knowing your Makhosi, and allow Khosi to sit there. Number two, let's recognize also the presence of Salga Provincial Chairperson, I'm told is somewhere, Honorable Councillor Molefe Kumalo. Salga is also part of us. You must also be ushered in the house. Thank you very much. Proceed, Honorable Malloy.
No, thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Madoda, whilst I'm answering questions, I would want you to send me a note quickly, because in the previous debate of your department, you did explain the meaning of anarchism. I might want to conclude with it, so prepare that note in the meantime. Honorable Priscilla, I agree with you.
Honorable Williams.
Or Honorable Williams, I agree with you. Mud houses, it's a problem. and we need to assist our people. In my speech, I did indicate that some of the companies that attended the Human Settlement Summit indicated that they are ready and prepared to assist. And I will be going to each and every municipality from June. And in each and every municipality, I'm going to request councillors, ward councillors, to give me a list of our people who need these houses, who are staying in mud houses, our elderly, and so on. So we are going to use two approaches. The first one is to go with all these business people who are doing business with the department in order for them to intervene immediately. Because once we allow our processes are very long. So it's for them to intervene immediately. But secondly, we'll also use the individual subsidies in the department, which we call the walk-ins. When the MEC gets it into an area, there is a challenge, the MEC is able to intervene immediately. So we are starting that process, and we would want that cooperation. But I would want you to give us that list as well before we leave today, in order for us to intervene in the areas that you have identified. The second matter, honorable members, is that we can't build in a dolomatic area. It is impossible. You can build today, but the consequences or the repercussions are going to be very high, because tomorrow something might happen to that family.
Order, honorable members. Order. Minutes, gate motlakase o setse o buile, honorable members. But let's also try honorable members ba security, go check honorable members ba ba kwa ntle gore ba kgone go tsena ka mo gare. Because re rile ra breaka for 5 minutes so that re ba tlogele ko ntle. Just alert them gore motlakase o buile, we are proceeding. Honorable members, Mutantis, as you have started, honorable MEC, in terms of your engagement with the legislature, don't worry. Proceed, MEC.
No, thanks, Honorable Speaker. On the issue of the disputes, the Premier very soon will be appointing the Dispute Resolutions Committee. But at the same time, I've spoken to the House of Traditional to know what are the challenges. They are the ones who will know Koshi and so on. So we would want the dispute. It means the House will work together with the committee to ensure that we resolve disputes expeditiously. But secondly, we have also taken a decision to strengthen the directorate that deals with traditional leadership. Because from where we are sitting, we don't think that that directorate is properly capacitated. We need to capacitate it properly with people who understand this area and so on. So we are intervening in that space. I have answered on the Murula-san matter as to what is it that we are doing and so on. Now, Honorable Speaker, you know when you prepare for a debate of this nature, normally researchers will write speeches or political parties will prepare speeches for us. But when you are a member, that speech, you must take it as a draft. Because once you arrive in a house, it means in a house you must listen. Some of the things that are written in your speech might be irrelevant, having listened to the MEC or to whoever is leading the debate. So in the process, you need to correct your speech and not just come and read it as is because you might embarrass yourself. So it's important for us to do so. And I must thank Honorable Nell. I think he did exactly that. As Honorable Nell was debating, you would have realized, Madam Speaker, that he was listening carefully and he was responding to issues that were raised in the budget speech. But with others, it's quite unfortunate. That did not happen. Now, Honorable Speaker, you'll agree with me that Honorable Khatsu is not raising this thing of 3 billion for the first time. She's raising it for the second time. And we did try our best to answer her. That this thing of 3 billion is imaginary. She's imagining things that do not exist. We have tried to help her. Unfortunately, it is becoming a problem. I think she is now beyond the reach of correction or reformation on this one. I think those who understand English, you can just Google it, that a person who is beyond the reach of correction or reformation, what type of a person is that one? And I think that's Honorable Bokhatsu. But what is even worse with Honorable Bokhatsu, Honorable Speaker, is that she's a person who is noisy and talk most about her opinions. And I can tell you now, more often than not, such people are people who are very ignorant. Because had you listened to the MEC, had you read everything that the MEC had presented and so on, you are not going to talk like you were talking. And unfortunately, she's not here. Now, you know, I want to agree with Honorable Sebego that I respect the Honorable Sonakile very much. Sonakile, I respect him very much. But today he was at another level. I was shocked. I did not know what's happening with him and so on. He also fell into a trap of a person who often thinks about doing something else or being somewhere else instead of paying attention to what is happening where he is. So it means himself, he joined that honorable member, Honorable Bokhatsu, and they were thinking about something else, they were somewhere else, they were not paying attention. So it will be important for members to pay attention to issues that are raised in the debates and so on. And we are going to make example as we attempt to answer some of the questions, which we think that some of them, they don't even need an answer, unfortunately. Now, Honorable Khatsu talks about unprocedural secondment of MMs to municipalities by the department. Now, department can't second anybody to a municipality unless requested to do so by that municipality and through a council resolution. So whenever we second people, it is because a municipality has requested us to do so. And when we second that person, we send a CV of that person in order for the council to look at the CV. Once they are satisfied, they will then appoint that person. But if they are not satisfied, they will then write back to the MEC and say, we don't think that this person qualifies and so on. So this is the exercise that we are undertaking. So there is nothing unprocedural, nothing. The problem is that we don't pay attention. We just read what has been prepared for us and so on without paying attention what is being said. The honorable member says the ANC ensured instability in traditional houses. And she mentioned Bakata Bakafel. You know, I just hope that Kosi Rotwani, no, not Rotwani, man. Yeah, Kosi Ramono. I just hope that Kosi Ramono is not here. I just hope so. Because you know what you are saying about what is happening in Bakata Bakafela and say the ANC is interfering and so on. That thing is tantamount to a lie. It is not true. And I don't think that the traditional leadership in Bakata Bakafela will appreciate the things that you are saying in this house. You are basically saying...
Hold on, please. Honorable Sambata, what we are doing is unparliamentary. If we can take that thing out. We only drink water that is provided by the secretary. Take that thing out. It's a weapon. It's not allowed in this house. Proceed, Honorable Malloy.
And let's help you again. Reading is important. To understand processes is also important. You know, a premier can never write a recognition certificate of a traditional leader without him getting a decision of a traditional a royal house.
Please hold on the second.
Royal
Honorable
houses are
Bukhatsu.
the ones who decide.
Hold on, please, Honorable Bukhatsu.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I just want to check if a lie is a parliamentary word to use as per
Honorable
Rule
Bukhatsu, may you please take
67.
your seat. You know, Honorable Bukhatsu, earlier on I said, you know, your interpretation and understanding of this rules is something else. Honorable Malloy have never said